Yerp, this perp back with another video, and I just got done checking out the brand new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie on Netflix. Now, this is pretty much what Halloween did with the 2018 version, where this is a direct sequel to the first one. I have some thoughts about that, but before we get into that, I want to kind of get your thoughts on just Texas Chainsaw Massacre as a whole, because I still think that the one that came out in 2003, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, was the best one that we've gotten up until this point. Some may say like the original is better, but to me, I feel like the 2003 version is the definitive version for me personally. But I definitely skipped out on 3D. Didn't care about it. So this was a pretty simple story to kind of follow. It's pretty dumb. That's a big gripe I have with this movie overall, is the plot and just how things just kind of happen. So we have four main characters pretty much in this film, that being Layla, one of those, and her sister, her older sister, Mel, which she is, I guess, running this whole kind of social media platform with this another character named Dante. And Dante has a girlfriend, and Dante's girlfriend's the first one to get killed out of the main crew. I do like the first opening kill that we kind of get. And that's one thing I really liked about the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre, if I could talk about that real quick, is the beginning of it. It felt like you're watching a documentary. It felt real. It felt eerie and stuff. They tried to do something different, which I can give them props for setting this version up, where I don't think in any other Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie it actually acknowledges that pretty much Texas Chainsaw Massacre is based off a real life story. So that was really cool for one of the characters to kind of see that on the news, that being broadcast or being promoted and whatnot, was like this documentary of the first movie. So that's really interesting to me. So like I said, Mel and Dante are these big influencers. They wanted to kind of take over this town, invest into it, and pretty much gentrify it, or what one of the characters would call gentrifuckers or something like that. That was pretty funny. So this is where I have real issues with the plot. So they pretty much say like, yeah, we're gonna treat people with respect here. We're gonna respect this town because it has some legacy to it. They don't really like outsiders. They don't like these like uppity type of Gen Z-esque type people, because you know and you see why they that these characters really deserve to die, because they really kind of instigate this whole entire plot and the whole narrative, which is like, yeah, that's cool, but then at the same time, I do not care for any of their deaths, even though the deaths in this, the kills, are very brutal, very bloody, very over the top, but very gruesome, man. I can appreciate that, but I just feel like if this had a better story overall, or just a stronger plot, and just put a little bit more time into some of these characters, even though it is a slasher and we don't really care for these characters, but I think they could have done more just to flesh them out. That's all I'm saying, because this movie is fairly short. It runs at like an hour and 23 minutes, so it pretty much just flies by. Like, as soon as this old lady, pretty much, that's kind of trying to just stay where she's at, trying to reclaim her home and stuff like that, because she doesn't want to get kicked out. That's the only thing that's keeping Leatherface from going over the edge. And they do show his face in this as well. As soon as that character dies, that's where the movie kind of just kicks off and he starts to just go on this crazy killing spree. Like I said, there's some really dope deaths. The utilization of Sally in this was pretty damn bad. I would say, like, it's very like Laurie Strode in Halloween 2018, where she just wants to get revenge on Leatherface and stuff like that. But literally, Leatherface doesn't even recognize who this is, or just doesn't even care. You know, it's kind of makes me think, like, what was the point of having her in this movie? They could have really just made this a complete entire reboot, which there is like a little post-credit scene after the credits get done rolling or something like that. So I don't know, man. I thought this was pretty disappointing, even though I expected it to. The kills were all right. The bus scene was really dope. I just don't think that any of the kills are going to be really memorable, because we didn't really give a fuck about any of these characters. But anyways, if you've seen this, let me know your thoughts. Is this the worst one? Is this worse than 3D? I don't think this is worse than 3D, even though I didn't even check that out. But I think there's some things to like about this. We'll see where they take this franchise after this movie. Obviously, it's a pretty generic ending overall. And I just think they could have just done way more with this movie. They had a lot of potential. Like, you had the brutal gory kills, but just a very weak foundation, a weak plot overall, and it just, you don't feel anything after watching this. Anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. Let me know once again your thoughts. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.